Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dominic. A few people I need to thank before I even start to say anything. This comes as quite a surprise. My father's been gone now for over 25 years, and that's a long time. When he started doing his freelance design practice, a lot of you people weren't born, or some of you did. It's a long time ago, early 60s. And as Joe said, he began his career at Chrysler Australia as chief stylist. He was designing automobile dashboards, and he was good. He was very good at rendering. He had a very good aesthetic sense for design, but he didn't stay at Chrysler very long. 3 years, and they offered him a very good job as product planning manager there. A huge promotion. He would have been in the executive ranks of Chrysler's, and he declined it. They were already really shocked. And he said he didn't want to be a manager, he wanted to be a designer. And he made this, I think at the time, now I'm older, an incredibly courageous move to decide he was going to freelance as industrial designer. In Adelaide, we had an industry, then, Whitegoods, Simpson Pope, Semco, David Shearer, you just saw the harvest reading. So there was the potential for work out there, but nobody knew what an industrial designer was. I think they thought industrial designers designed factories. Nobody knew what product design was. But he went out, he had 5 kids, went out and began freelancing in Adelaide, which has not got a huge industrial base, it didn't at the time, and he was really successful. He was very good at what he did. And the culmination of his professional life was the David Shearer Harvester, which won the Prince Philip Design Award in 1968. And everybody's had a few anecdotes. I want to tell you just a quick anecdote, being last, I don't want to keep you too long, but this was really interesting because he's been gone a fair while, and out of the blue last year I had a phone call from 2 people who worked with my father way back in the early 60s, who said they wanted to propose him for the Hall of Fame, the ADELAIDE. Well, my connection with designers, my background is in graphic design, but I've been retired for some time now, and this is just suddenly back to my father's work. We had to find all these old slides which were grubby and put away. He was not much for taking photos of his work for posterity. He used to plonk the products on a card table at the back and take a picture with Kodachrome slide. So trying to get the stuff together to get a portfolio of his work was pretty challenging. They weren't very good quality, but we did. And that was through the work of 2 people. Some of you may know these people, Paul Huxtable and Adelaide. And Paul was the major initiator, and Michael Upton, both of whom worked with my dad very briefly as quite young trainees. And in the process of putting this work together, I told them the story about the David Shearer Harvester. He did an amazing job on that. It was quite a brilliant bit of design. And he proposed it and set it up for the Prince Philip Design Award. And tragically, he got no recognition for it, none at all. David Shearer accepted the award. He wasn't mentioned. And for my father, who was a very modest man, he just kind of shrugged it off and said, well, people in the design industry know that I did this, so it's all good. So suddenly we're back looking at this work that he'd done, and we managed to find a few old slides of it and put it together, and I thought, okay, we'll see if he goes down into the Hall of Fame, whether that he's going to be chosen was going to be months, Paul said. And the kind of icing on the cake, if you like, or the extra wonderful thing that happened was that in relaying this story about the harvester, I got a phone call probably 2 months later from Paul. He said, "Are you going to be home next week? I want to bring somebody up to your house and give you something." I thought, is this how the Hall of Fame works? Do they have a voucher or something? He wouldn't tell me anything about that. So day arrives, he comes, knocks on the door with Brandon, Ian, and they had with them a framed certificate copy of the Prince Philip Design Award. It was a posthumous certificate that the DAA had generated with his name on it. It was beautiful. It was the real thing. It's what was presented on the day, but not to him. So I'm incredibly grateful to be here tonight on his behalf to accept the Oscar for being in the Hall of Fame. But I must say, the Gold Logie last year with the Harvest, it was fantastic too. So it's been a really interesting ride the last 8-9 months, and I have to say to the DAA, the initiative of having a Hall of Fame, I think, is a brilliant one. For people who contribute so much to the design profession, and I think in any profession having that kind of recognition is wonderful. So my thanks to all of you for doing this, getting it up and having it happen. And Georgina, are you here tonight? Where are you?
It might be me. I am a Georgina.